Hi, my name's Dave. I'm with Optilogic, and today I am going to show you how to use incremental change in Cosmic Frog's Neo engine. Now, incremental change allows us to explore stepwise changes to a network rather than wholesale, large-scale changes all at once. Today, we'll be exploring a specific use case, controlling how fast and in what sequence a supplier base changes. So instead of an overnight network flip, we could build a realistic phased transition plan. Incremental change lets us set a budget for how much our network can change from one period to the next. In this model, where we're looking to add suppliers to our network over time, that means capping how many new suppliers can be added per quarter. On the screen here, the map indicates the flows changing as we move through time from quarter to quarter. So for example, both Mercia and Maine's suppliers are added as we progress from Q4 of 2026 to the next quarter. The solver is going to find the best possible network within the limits we set on adding suppliers per quarter, and will produce a sequenced roadmap that we can hand directly to our operations team. So let's navigate over to our data module, and in the input tables, we are looking at the incremental change constraints table. This table is where we'll define our transition budget. Each row says, for this change type, in this period, allow this much change. So in this model, we're constraining two different things. One, how many suppliers can be added per quarter, and two, when new facilities can open. The change type column tells the solver which dimension to control. The period name references a group of periods defined in our groups table. The period group behavior determines how the budget applies. Enumerate means that the budget applies to each period individually. So a budget of 2 with enumerate means no more than 2 per quarter. Now aggregate means that the budget is one total across the whole group. The budget is the number, and the budget basis is the unit. So here everything is in quantity because we're talking about absolute counts of suppliers. So budget of 2 with quantity means that no more than 2 suppliers can be added in that period. A budget of 0 means no additions are allowed. Every row defaults to exclude. So rather than editing this table to switch rows on and off, we'll activate specific rows at the scenario level by filtering on the notes field. The notes values here, like suppliers added 5 through 16 or West Coast from 2028, these are the tags that our scenarios will use to select the right subset of constraints. So now let's take a look at these scenarios. In the Scenarios module, we'll open the scenario where we want incremental change active. In this model, there is a scenario item that's been added to set status to include, and filters the notes field to activate only the rows we want. So for the 3 Europe transition scenario, we're activating the suppliers added rows that are tagged suppliers added 5 through 16 and suppliers added periods 17 through 24. Now this will set a budget of 2 additions per quarter through the transition window, and then locks it to 0 after the target supplier mix is reached. We are going to run this for the Europe transition scenario. Click Run. Okay, when the solve finishes, we're going to go back to our data module, and we're going to find that 2 new output tables have been populated. One is the optimization incremental change summary, and one is the optimization incremental change report. Now looking at the optimization incremental change summary first, this gives us a period-by-period accounting for our budget. For 3 Europe transition, we've hit the budget limit of 2 in 2027 Qs 1, 2, and 3, and then 0 in Q4 through 2028 Q3, meaning no additions were needed in those periods. Then it picks back up in Q4 2028 with 1 supplier added in that quarter, and then we hit our budget of 2 again for each of the quarters in 2029. When actual change is below budget, it means that the solver found no value in adding more. Now, that's not a problem. It just means that the model is telling you that the transition is pacing itself correctly. The optimization incremental change report is the detailed implementation checklist. Every individual add or removal is listed by supplier name and period. For example, here, 2027-1, Q1, Mercha, and mains come on. This is the quarter-by-quarter action plan that our ops team can work from directly. The map visualizes this. Examining the pre-transition period, there are 3 suppliers in China and 6 in Europe. After our transition, there are no China suppliers and 18 suppliers in Europe, 2 for each raw material. To help us analyze this transition, there is a dashboard in the Analytics module called Supplier Transition Timeline. You can filter this by scenario for a listing of which raw material comes from which supplier during which quarter. Okay, for one important cross-check, let's go to our data module and look at our output tables again. We will want to compare the incremental change report against both the optimization supply summary and the flow summary, just to make sure the changes you're expecting are reflected. If you do find unexpected results in your flow, you might need to add further constraints in case the solver is trying to exploit an alternative path that you don't actually want. Okay, and then just a few other quick tips. If there are no changes appearing in your summary output, confirm that your scenario items are actually setting status to include. If you get an infeasible result, relax the budget or extend your transition window before tightening it again. And then lastly, start with a large budget first to see the natural rate of change that the solver wants. That will tell you what a realistic floor is before you start constraining it. Okay, that is it. Set up your constraints table, activate the right rows in each scenario, tune your solver settings, and then read your transition plan from the summary and report output tables. We have been working today with the supplier-based transition model that you can find in the resource library. It's set up exactly as shown here. But as you can imagine, there are other use cases for incremental change, such as production smoothing. You can find an example model for that in the resource library as well. Explore those models as a starting point for incremental change, and happy modeling.